Playing ranked, getting into a high rank, playing 10-man, doing scrims. That's like the college football. You're good, you're getting there, you got the skill, you're starting to make a name for yourself. But if you're trying to get to tier two, tier one, that's like going into the NFL, right? It's everybody's good. Everybody's just as good as you, if not way better. And so if you think you're the best in the world right now, you might have a rough road ahead. You need to have some. You need to just focus more on the long term, the progression, getting better. The more you focus on that, the better you're going to be in the long run.
Welcome to episode 7 of the podcast. We're here with Valorant team captain Rival Creed, and with our host Dom. And as you know, the podcast is kind of shifted right now. It's a different setup and everything. But we're here, we're doing it, we're back, and we can't wait to provide you guys with some great insight. So, Dom, do you want to lead with the first question, or you want me to?
Oh, you can go for it.
Okay. So, Rival, one thing I've always been interested since I've met you was like, I know you have a background in competing, right? So I want you to walk us through your journey. How did you get to being a Valorant player right now? Like, I know you compete in Overwatch, right? What time did you
Yeah.
compete in Overwatch? So how did you end up in Valorant? So what does that look like for you?
Okay. So the journey starts, as you guys know, I'm a boomer. Just hit 30 years old. Back in the day, I was competing in Halo, from Halo 2 all the way up till the most recent Halo. I'm just doing LANs, doing small events here in Seattle. And then as that game started kicking off in MLG and game battles, I started to compete in that, but always kind of been stuck in the tier 2 level. Um, and then Overwatch came out, I believe it was 2013, 2014. And I was playing that on consoles. There's a little competitive scene. Majority of the competitive scene for Overwatch was PC. But still very interesting. Got a lot of experience. Multiple teams, creating teams, joining teams, managing teams, all of it. And then once Valorant came out, and I saw it wasn't going to be on consoles, but it's also going to be the biggest, esports title since say CS:GO. I was like, hey, let me give this a shot. So June of last year, being my first PC competitive game. I played PC games before, but never to the extent of being competitive and trying to reach the top like I was doing in Halo. Um, I decided to pick up Valorant. Got the beta key. Man, I was terrible. My aim was horrible. I was Iron One, the lowest rank possible. Like I was running and gunning. Just it was not working. And so I was just watching tons of videos, watching a lot of the top players like Kiko, Wardell, Tens, and all that, and just noticed that they have like a very disciplined routine, mainly like through aim labs or Kovacs. And so I have diligently played that since day
Mm-hmm.
one and have grind since Iron all the way up to Immortal. And here I am on a team signed contract competing in tournaments. So it's been a journey, it's been a grind, and it's crazy to be able to play in a competitive game in a whole nother platform.
Yeah.
But a lot of those foundational stuff that I learned in other teams, call outs, communication, working together, all of that stuff just carries over. It was just the aim mechanics that I had to get down.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that you were Iron when you first started playing, because
Oh yeah.
I guess that's a reality for most Valorant players, right?
Yep.
Um, and to be immortal near Radiant right now, on a
Yep.
team competing, that goes to show that it's possible, that
Oh yeah. Yep.
it's possible. And I
And
know, and
and
I've
at 30. And at 30.
exactly, and at 30. So
A
for
lot of people
everyone,
are like, I don't know if I can. I mean, hey, Nico's doing it. I can do it. Like, come on.
wow, no, yeah, that's crazy. But I see, I see you working. I see you practicing every day. I see you in aim lab. See you posting your records that you're breaking on aim lab, and like, for people watching, for those kids, those teenagers, those young adults watching, like, that's inspiring. That really is. That's
Yep.
that's crazy. I wish they understood how much hard work you actually put. I don't even understand it to the full extent, right? But
Yeah.
um, a lot came, a lot was done to hit your goals and
Yeah.
everything. Um,
It's a lot about like consistency, just doing the same thing on a daily
mhm,
basis and do it over and over until you perfect it and then move on to the next thing. So, I
yeah.
mean, you could apply that same concept to anything you want to do in life, really. So,
Mhm. At what point though how do you avoid burnout, right? Because I figured training every day and everything, you will get tired. So like, how do you manage your burnout and stuff like that?
Tracking your progress. For a while there, aim labs didn't really track much, and so you get burnt out when you don't see any like reward to it. If you don't see any outcome or any like anything come from it, then I'll be burnt out. Probably do aim labs for a month, but seeing my rank progress, see the teams that I've been on, and then got on to RVTG and seeing my performance in tournaments, I'm like, hey, this is working. This might be boring in general, doing the same aim labs over and over, but the outcome is progressing. The ranks are going up, the tournaments are going up, and so that's really what the drive is right there. Like if you want those things, then you keep doing the foundational stuff. So
Okay.
and just switching it up. There's always like, say if you're working out, you're not going to do the same workout for 9 months straight. You're going to figure out different routines, different methods of doing it, and then eventually you'll figure out a different way or maybe a better way. So definitely the playlist I'm doing now is way different than the one I did before. So
Okay. Nice. Dom, got anything?
Oh, I was gonna ask, because I was like big into Overwatch and stuff too. Before the game came out, because this is like something I like to do too.
mhm.
Before the game came out, did you have like kind of an intuition or a thought that, hey, like just looking at this game or just in like the early alpha and beta of this game, that this would be an esport as big as it has become? Or
Yeah, especially with a developer like Riot, they had League of Legends, and League of Legends
Mhm.
has some of the biggest world championships, $8 million prize pool, just crazy worldwide. And I'm like, there's no way a developer that's trying to get into a competitive shooter like say CS:GO isn't going to venture that route. They're not just going to have a casual game on the side while they have League of Legends over here. So I was surprised that it kind of took them a little bit to get to this point, but it's understandable. You build a foundation with a competitive game, and then you build up from there. So um, I definitely think that. Oh, want to take a little quick pause?
No.
No, you can keep talking. You'll just cut
All
my
right.
audio out.
um, definitely think that with the Overwatch concepts in Valorant and then the CS:GO like fundamentals, it was just like an easy recipe to have like such a huge esport title. Like there was nothing that came close to how big Valorant is now, besides CS:GO, and you're starting to see even CS:GO communities shift over here. It was just kind of like a no-brainer, and I had problems with that before. Like there was a lot of games, a lot of like smaller games that I thought were going to be the esports and just never turned out to be. So I had a little bit of intuition of like, hey, this game actually has some of the fundamental concepts to where it can be an esports. For a while there, Halo didn't even have a custom game lobby. How do you have an esports game without custom game? Like,
Yeah.
but,
Hate.
so.
Yeah. So, what's your least and most favorite thing about being a Valorant player? Start with the least, and then talk about the most.
Least favorite is the community. Sometimes the community is just too stuck in their own head. It's all about the scoreboard. If you're not popping off 30 kills, then they're trash at the game.
Hmm.
That's literally the mindset of the Valorant community. Being in a 10 man, being in ranked, being in um, just anything in general, it's just all about the stats. And being somebody that plays competitively, I know there's a lot of stuff that goes into those stats on the scoreboard, and a lot of people just don't think that in depth. To where if you're bottom fragging, you must have done nothing for the team. When in reality, when you go watch the VOD review, I mean, a lot of stuff set that up, the call outs, there's so much more. It's like football. If you don't have the touchdowns as the other wide receivers, does that mean you're just a terrible wide receiver? Or were you making the space, making the
Hmm.
room for your superstars to
Exactly.
make the plays? Yeah. So that's definitely the worst part of it is like, you're doing good, but sometimes it doesn't show.
Hmm.
The favorite part, just to be able to do different stuff. A lot of times I think I hit a plateau, and then things start to click a different way. I start learning other agents, and then all of a sudden the game opens up into a whole nother game. Like the most recent agent Astra that just came out. I played Omen for about 1,500 hours. Just solely played Omen, and the game started to feel stagnant a little bit. And then now that I have another agent, it's a whole nother game. like
Yeah.
different avenues, different ways to play it, different play styles, like, and it just kind of makes it refreshed. And that was a big thing, like in CS:GO and Halo, and a little bit of Overwatch, is like the meta was kind of stay stagnant and stay the same. And if you're gonna put all these hours into a game and play it, it needs to be refreshed. Like you need to be flexible, being doing different stuff, because if you're
Mhm.
doing the same thing over and over, it could get pretty boring. But not this game. It's always changing.
Okay. So, do you recommend like these newer players or these younger players who aspire to go pro, right?
Yeah.
Do you recommend that they just keep changing operators, like to keep trying different people and just try different things rather than get pigeonholed into like a main per se?
Yeah. I like the idea of being a specialist, focusing on one thing, as long as it's something that's meta. If you're a Viper main, you ain't getting nowhere.
That's why I quit.
Yeah, Viper's good sometimes, but I definitely think mastering one thing and then moving on. I'd be a master of one, then jack of all trades, because there's so many little things, even with Omen, that I'm still learning, and I probably have one of the highest play times with Omen in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and was really able to excel and obviously join a team and do go from there. But that was also because Omen was good in the meta. Um, so you got to be very careful if you are gonna 100% pick one agent and stick to it. You have to really do your research and look at the meta, see what the pro teams are doing, making sure you're picking the right agent. But I do think that's the best route for a new player to go, because then you can just solely focus on one thing. You're
Okay.
not looking at 10 different play styles and lineups, like trying to learn Sova lineups and then
Mm-hmm.
Cypher cages and Omen smokes. Like, pick one and go from there. So you definitely, once you start getting it, then start to branch out your pool and kind of go from there. But you need to master one thing.
Okay. Cool. Hmm. So, how has your time on Team Reinvented Gaming affected your skill or perspective about being a pro player? And you may have kind of already answered this in your previous question,
Yeah.
but I'm not asking this just because I'm CEO, but I'm asking it just to know to
Yeah.
actually be curious. Like, how has being on Team Reinvented Gaming affected you as a player?
Yeah. I think the biggest advantage I get as a player by joining this team is exposure. I'm able to play in a lot of tournaments and a lot of scrims against a lot of high level players. And by doing that, it's going to make me a better player. Um, we scrim, 16 scrims a week. And then once the full roster is completed, coming up, we'll be in tournaments as well. And just that exposure, and also having an organization that gives me four other players that are just as dedicated and just as motivated as I am, to all of us going one route. So we don't even have to think about the other stuff. We don't have to think about tryouts and who's staying on the team and all that. We can just focus on
Mm.
playing and let all the other organizational stuff, you guys are taking care of that. So it definitely allows me to just solely focus on that. And
Okay.
I built teams before that were outside of organization. There were just, five guys that wanted to play a game, and those stick around for about 30 days.
Yeah.
And being on RVTG, literally playing with the same players for the past 3-4 months, and then signing the new contract, so I'm going to be playing with them another 6 months. That
Mhm.
chemistry is how you get to like tier 2, tier 1, because like TSM, they've been a team since March of last year. 12 months of practicing strats and call outs and building that chemistry, and you're not going to get the same thing with just a pickup team.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So when so you said you started playing Valorant in June 2020. I'm correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right,
So
right when the full release came out.
all right. So that's when I officially created Team Reinvented Gaming on paper.
There
Discord
you
was
go.
in March 2020, but I created Team Reinvented Gaming in June 2020. How many teams did you go before we found you, or you found us? Or
Yeah.
how did you find us?
Yeah. When I first started, I knew that I had to get the rank. Being an iron, you're not really going to get a serious team.
Yeah.
So I grinded through the summer, got to Diamond 1 by August, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to join the team. I was on two teams. It was a Team Toxic, which, I mean, the name really stuck to how the players were. And then the other team was Team Unknown. There were just some unknown players trying to make a name. A couple tournaments, summer tournaments here and there. Didn't really go too far. And then I was pretty much saying like, well, let me build a team, because obviously the two teams I joined didn't work out. within 30 days. And so I built a team called The Business. It was actually my team from Halo as well, and Battlefield. And I was like, well, let me use that same brand and a little bit of that community, and just build my own team. I liked the route that I was going, but it was taken away from my game time because I am a father. I got two little girls. I work a primary job as well, and I'm trying to do Valorant on the side. Um, Try to build a team on top of that. My performance as a player was going down. My aim
Yeah.
wasn't there. Just trying to, I would just imagine scrimming 16 times a week, but then also dealing with all the organizational stuff behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I need to be able to just be a player. So I was actually competing against RVTG in scrims,
Mm-hmm.
and we were taking games from each other, the business RVTG, and I definitely when I was talking with you guys, I definitely liked your guys' structure and the way you guys were playing. And as my team started to fall apart. We lost a couple tourneys, and ego guys just gonna be just check
Yeah.
out. I'm done. I
Yep.
was like, I don't need all that. I just need to join a team and focus on being a player, and then go from there. So you guys had tryouts. I'm the best omen in North America, so it's
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
then yeah, and we go from there. And then I definitely saw like what you guys were looking for was just dedication and somebody obviously that has the skill as
Mm.
well, but also the longevity. And I think that's very hard to find with a lot of players right now. Is like people want to win, but they don't want to put in the time to get to that point.
Yeah.
So,
Even
but
I
go
don't
ahead.
even control. Even with being a player, right? I can speak from the admin side of the house. You mentioned how when you were trying to run your own team that you really couldn't play, right? Like
Yeah.
it's really like that. Like, running a team is not just five people get together. It's like there's so much more behind the scenes administratively that has to get done. That
Yep.
like if and for you guys who watching who want to be managers or players, like you have to make a decision. It's either you're going to be a manager or you're going to be a player. And doing both
Hmm.
at a high level is pretty much impossible
Yep.
because as you get bigger, there's other things you have to worry about on the administrative side that will take away from your player side. So I pretty much gave up on being a pro player. So but no, that's legit. But I'm glad you said that though, because that puts some reality into that rival
Hmm. Yep.
and everything. So
Yeah, just the fact of trying to find like scrims and then find substitutes and get into tourneys, and then let alone once land start to come and you have to start coordinating travel and meetups and
yeah,
hotels. Like that's a lot
finances.
of legwork that
Yeah.
somebody like you need to have another person for that.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you gotta fix. But so I know. So we just signed Wham. So
Yeah.
I know you and Wham have been killing together. So like, how's that? How are you gelling with Wham, and how is he gelling with the team? Like, what's that duo? Is that something we can expect in the future? For you guys to really be like playing off each other and really making some big plays out there. So
Yeah, for sure. When I definitely play Omen, Omen really connects well with Jet. A lot of aggressive plays, a lot of just really get in their face and just make it happen. So when I'm playing Omen and when I'm playing Jet, just gonna have natural chemistry with there. Same thing with when Tonki was playing Jet. Those two agents just really mesh well together. But when it comes with Wham, just right off the bat, we played some ranked games together and just some scrims, and it's one of those like as time goes on, like a player's play style, and you know what they're about to do. Like if he drops a smoke there and TPs, like his intentions after that, and then you can set him up for a play and vice versa. And so I was very surprised to see some of that chemistry such early on, because we were in a high level like Radiant lobby, and it was 2v5 with literally 10 seconds left of the round, and we haven't planted the bomb yet, and we still pulled away the victory against some of the best players. And I was like, what happened? And we replayed the clip, and I was like, I mean, we calmed it, but we didn't calm it that much detail. But the play just evolved into
mhm.
a win. And it's just like, wow. I mean, we got it. So I think a lot of it has to do with confidence. Sometimes if you think that your player, like your teammate, isn't the best, you might act differently. It's like, well, what if they don't win that fight? Then I need to come over and like cover them. Versus, I know they're gonna win that, so I'm gonna cover this angle. And if we both win, then we're both gonna converge on the next guy. It's kind of like football. You're holding the
Mhm.
line, while your guys running through, you can't expect your guys not going to make it through. You have to be confident enough and just do your job. They do their job, and then you both excel and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
So, and definitely, he also had a very chill personality. Somebody that I could see, playing this game with for 20 hours a week. 6 months later. So, that has a lot to do with it because it's like building a friendship. You're playing a game competitively over and over and over. So yeah, he's an amazing player. He's almost top 500 in North America. So we're cheering him on.
He
He's getting
is.
it.
He's gonna hit it. It's gonna be crazy. Dom, you got anything?
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Valorant. I played like a decent amount back during like the beta and stuff, and then when the game first came out, because me and my friends played CS:GO a lot. So
Mhm.
when the Valorant came out, that was the new big thing. We all switched to that. But I haven't played in a whole lot recently. But I wanted to ask how much, because you've been playing since like it came out, like its full release.
Yeah.
How drastic of a change has it been since it came out till like this point, like today?
Mhm. There hasn't been too big of a change. I mean, some of the agents have kind of shifted up the meta, but like the core fundamentals of Valorant is still there. I think teams are starting to get more advanced, starting to look at different strategies. Like obviously the EU team has a different comp than the NA team. NA team tends to run more duelist and heavy, kill centric, versus EU is more about team compositions and how to stack on abilities to do certain things. And so I think EU has a lot of like the Overwatch characteristics of Overwatch, like you would have a graviton and a tracer and boom, 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 when like everything happens. Versus NA is just more of just killing people. So I definitely think people are starting to learn more in depth of like how some of the lower non-meta agents can actually play a big factor. Um, and as we get more agents and more maps, the game's just going to evolve more. Like we only have 5 maps right now. I think we have like 16 agents, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not too big of a pool. But they're adding maps and they're adding agents like every 2 months. So uh, it's getting there for sure. And I would definitely say like the map that I'm starting to read people a lot because people have some like the community in general just kind of have like some of the same tendencies and the same reactions to certain things. So it's definitely getting easier as time goes on to like predict people's plays. But like I said, as an agent comes in or as a map comes in, it's gonna break all of that prediction out, and people are gonna start playing differently. So, and the tournaments have a big factor. And anytime a team like Sentinels win such a major event, it shifts the meta because everybody sees it and says, "Well, they won, so that must work." And then you see Sentinels come out and not play the same role because they're like, we're only doing that for the Masters. Like we have another strategy up our sleeve, and so it's way more in depth than what people think. So
So, we participated in the VCT Open qualifiers and everything, and the Champions Tour and stuff like that. We didn't do too well, honestly, right? So, how did you balance out your emotions? Like
yeah,
that was our first major tournament that Team Reinvented Gaming entered, and I know you guys are super excited about it. And
hmm
we have this dream of we're gonna win it and we're gonna make it forward, but reality hits
yeah,
and we don't even make it past the first team, right? So
yeah.
how did you balance that out? How did you take your emotions and reinvest them to make yourself better?
I don't really think there's too much emotions to it. Like we just went on to the next tourney or the next
Mm.
day. I've been in a lot of tourneys. I've been in a lot of lands. Obviously, I haven't won all of them. I've won a couple. And so like it's just part of the grind. It's part of the practice. Playing against those teams at open qualifiers, they're definitely very good teams. And just VOD reviewing, seeing what they did, seeing what we could have done, and just learning from it. If I just played a ranked game with 5 of my friends versus if I played in master and challengers with 4 of my teammates, that's way more exposure and way more practice that I could ever ask for. So, um, even though we lost, we still got a lot from it. And that's all it is. Is every day you play this game, every tournament you get in, you take something away until eventually you get to a certain point. So as long as you think about it in the long term, there's not too much emotions for it. I think there would have been more emotions if I was like in the finals and we were almost there, lost it,
Yeah.
but like we're still grinding, we're still getting there. And so definitely would like a better performance even on myself, but it's just one of those things that's come with time. So I think that's one thing that's overlooked is yeah, people scrim a lot. You work on your aim labs, you work on Valorant and all that, but you have a different play style when you're on the spotlight, when you're being casted, when you're in a tournament, when you're on the big stage. That's a time that you only have experience if you've done it before. And if that's your first tournament, you might be shaking, you might be nervous, you
Mm-hmm.
might be doing things a little differently. And so the more you get on that big stage, the more comfortable you're going to get, the more experience you're going to get. And then eventually, once you get to, like, say, masters or champions, then you're going to be calm, collected, kind of go from there.
All
So
right,
it's
nice.
just a skill in general, just to be calm under pressure, for sure.
All right, interesting. So we're ending here pretty soon, but one thing I want to know is, what would you tell the 18-year-old Valorant player right now, who's been playing the game for the past year and plays Omen and wants to be a pro player? What's that one piece of advice you would give them that to help them, for the time
Yeah.
as a player?
Check your mental.
Mm-hmm.
And that's is playing ranked, getting into a high rank, playing 10 man, doing scrims. That's like the college football. You're good, you're getting there, you got the skill, you're starting to make a name for yourself. But if you're trying to get to tier two, tier one, that's like going into the NFL, right? It's everybody's good. Everybody's just as good as you, if not way better. And so if you think you're the best in the world right now, you might have a rough road ahead. You need to have some. You need to just focus more on the long term, the progression, getting better. The more you focus on that, the better you're going to be in the long run. Because if you come at it saying I am the best, nobody can beat me, I should win masters, I should be on Sentinels right now, I need to get paid $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. You might be shocked because there's a lot of skill out there, a lot of talent. There's a lot of and you just have to focus on you, focus on your grind, and just make sure you're progressing every day. Because as soon as you lose sight of that, I don't think it's gonna work. So
Okay, nice. Where can people find you if they want to see you play, learn more about you? You know.
you'll see me on those leaderboards, up there on the top. You might see me in the Oregon death match on Monday through Sunday. And you also see me on your desk screen, up at the top. It'll say "Killed by Rival Creed." You'll see me there.
Dang. Okay. Comfortable out. Okay. Facts though. No. Sure.
Yeah. Or you could catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv Rival Creed, or Twitter, just handle as Rival Creed as well. So also, anytime you just join the Team Reinvented Gaming Discord channel,
Yeah.
see me right
Gotcha.
down there in the Valorant chat. If you don't see me in there, it's probably because I'm, trying to grind a Radiant. But if I'm just practicing or doing some aim labs, just want to, chime in and get some advice, yeah, just go ahead and join in, jump in there, or just message me and just say like, hey, me and some of the other teammates do some coaching sessions as well, or if you just need some quick advice. And so we've definitely helped a lot of players kind of progress up the ranks, kind of go from there.
Okay. Cool. And Dom, I know you were gonna end the way you like to end as well. So it's on you.
Oh, okay. What do you want me to? This is a fresh new start. Do you want me to do the old segment that
Yeah.
we used to do?
The
Carry it
media.
over.
Yeah. Carry it over.
All
Media.
right, cool. Well, this is a little sorry I haven't talked a whole lot during this podcast. I was taking and I was super interested in everything Rival's saying, so I was taking it all in. But at the end, we like to do this thing where we share like a piece of media over like the past week or two we've been enjoying, whether it be like a game, a movie, like some kind of music, like an artist, an album, or something. So if we want to go in order by, I don't know, my screen, so Dorian, you'd be first, then me, and then Rival, if that's cool with everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So one game I've been enjoying. I've been on and off a lot of games, a lot. But there's a game called Outriders that is coming out April 1st on Steam. It has like a Gears of War type, the Division feel to it, and I'm kind of, like I said, my pro player days are gone. So trying to grind these competitive games having a lot of stress in my life. But no, I'm playing Outriders. I like it. It's chill. It's a game I could just vibe out and just chill on. I like it. It's new, and I'm gonna try to stream it and see how that goes. So that's for me. The Outriders game is what I'm really into. So
Yeah, for me, I'd have to say, because I haven't played a whole lot of games this past week, but I have been listening to a lot of music. I've been going back and listening to a lot of Kanye West, like some of his older stuff.
There you go.
I don't know why, but randomly I was just like, you know what, I feel like listening to some of his older albums again because I'm a big fan. And saw To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar, another
There you
like
go.
really good album. So I've just been enjoying taking some time to listen to some music, looking to some lyrics and stuff, and because I'm trying to get back into like working on music and stuff. So it was fun just to sit there and I don't know, listen to some of the classics for me.
There you go. For me, a game that I've been playing, as you see, there's another gaming chair right next to me. On my dedicated streaming PC. I also have my wife play League of Legends. That's our way of doing some bonding. This is actually her first like video game that she plays on like a daily basis, and so after scrims or whatever, if I just want to relax, play a little League of Legends as well. I love to see her little gamer rage now. Somebody says GG or does something disrespectful, just yell at them at the mic, and I'll be like, see, that's why I get loud at night because like I got to deal with this stuff too. So she feels the gamer rage, and then I say, let's see, watch Dorian's Twitch, like you'll see him rage too.
you'll see a lot of things on there that we can't talk about
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
But
So like games can bring out some emotions, man. It's fun, but it can be frustrating too. So League of Legends is just one of them. So obviously, it's a game that's been out for a while. I just recently started playing it, so it's interesting. It's not my favorite, but it's a good game to chill with the wife with. So
nice.
but if there's a new game I would ask people to play, it's probably gonna be what was Escape of Tarkov. I guess it's not a new game, but it's a game that my team manager Vix got me into. Definitely an intense game, man. Intense. Like I don't even want to get into all of the things, but I feel spoiled playing typical first-person shooters because when I play Escape from Tarkov, I'm like, what do you mean I can't do this? What do you mean this happens? I got to check my ammo, physically check my ammo. Like, so it's definitely a good game for the hardcore players out there, and it's definitely a different. It's just more refreshed than just playing, say, Call of Duty and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, great, man. Great to hear. Well, thank you for being on this podcast. I learned a lot. Pretty sure Dom did, and our audience watching. I'm pretty sure they can take away a lot of wisdom from you.
Yeah.
So, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. This episode of the podcast. And we hope to see you guys next time. So until then, we'll catch you later.
See you later.
Peace.